Good morning. Last night, I provided remarks to the St. Louis County Council that bear repeating this morning. Regarding St. Louis County's response to the pandemic, in St. Louis County, we were the first hit and the hardest hit in Missouri. We saw what was happening in other parts of the country, and we took measures to protect the health and safety of our county residents. We put in place one of the first stay-at-home orders in the country to stop the spread of the virus. And without a cure, we knew that we had to use all the tools that were available to stop the spread. That includes a mandate of face coverings, limits on social distancing, and limits on gatherings. We are the economic engine of the state. We are the center of commerce. Every day, thousands of people travel into St. Louis County to work and to do business. Our livelihoods depend on us maintaining control of the virus. And to do that, we must keep in place measures that protect the health and welfare of everyone in St. Louis County. Measures that have been recommended by our public health experts and our medical community. And they tell us that this virus is still with us, still very contagious, and still deadly. Across Missouri and across the country, we see cases of COVID-19 continue to rise. A lack of an early, comprehensive national response and a patchwork of responses across the country has allowed this virus to rage on. So any talk of loosening restrictions at this point is irresponsible and premature. We must continue to be leaders of the fight here in St. Louis County. There's been a lot of discussion over the past weeks about our social distancing restrictions. And these restrictions have demanded sacrifice, but they have saved lives. Our slow and cautious and responsible response has kept us from an outcome that would be much grimmer. If we let up now, we will see an explosive growth of the virus across our community, and all of the hard work and sacrifices that we have made will be lost. And the decisions we make today will continue to be driven by our hospital leadership and by our public health experts. And they work in and they operate some of the most successful and the best hospitals in the country. They're at the forefront of the battle, and they see how this virus affects bodies. They see how contagious it is, and they need the help of everyone in the community to remain responsible and to make good decisions. Our hospitals are busy, but they're not yet overwhelmed. The cases are rising across Missouri, and especially in our rural areas, and some of those people are coming to St. Louis County to be taken care of in our hospitals. If we become reckless in our response here, then we risk stressing our hospitals, we may risk adverse treatment of our patients, and we certainly will endanger our hospital workers. The bills before the council to eliminate our public health restrictions do nothing to protect the health and welfare of people in St. Louis County. Evolving political opinion is not good leadership. Public health orders are not always popular, but they save lives. Masking requirements are not liked by all, but they save lives. Stay-at-home orders were not embraced by all, but they save lives. And limitations on gatherings are not always followed, but they save lives. And that will be the root of our decisions in St. Louis County during a pandemic. Will be focused on saving lives. In St. Louis County, 830 of our residents, of our family, our coworkers, our neighbors have died from the virus. 27,000 people in St. Louis County have been sickened by the virus. And across the country, 215,000 people have lost their lives. Until we have a vaccine, we must stay the course. We must continue social distancing, continue wearing a mask, and continue with some sorts of limits on gatherings. Masking should not be a partisan issue. The virus isn't partisan, and we have to rise above the political rhetoric. We can't undermine the sacrifices that everyone is making, including our first responders, our hospital workers, our grocery workers, and everyone working in pharmacies and restaurants. Protecting the health of St. Louis County residents is my focus. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Do you feel like the bills that have been proposed do just that, undermine the safety of the people you've been trying to protect?
Well, they immediately removed public health restrictions. So absolutely. We are where we are in St. Louis County with the lowest, one of the lowest rates of increase of the virus in our state and even in our country. And we're here because of public health restrictions that have saved lives. And removing them now is premature, and it's certainly not responsible.
I know a couple of weeks ago, I think the number was around 400 public comments that were submitted when the discussion was going on about youth sports. Last night they were saying there was more than 2,000. Can you talk, I mean, there seems to be, and it was admitted last night during the meeting, a change of heart by some people to now suddenly want to listen to all the comments. That's been one of the things some people have been talking about. Can you address that? Because it wasn't like that
Well,
back when they were talking about
sure.
sports.
Last night, some of the council members discovered that another council member had been stuffing the comment box and then working to limit comments at the council meetings so that only the minority of people in St. Louis County who are opposed to mask mandates would be heard. But as awareness increased in St. Louis County that our county council was actually considering trying to remove mask mandates and limit public health orders, a lot of people were upset, and then they started commenting. And it was when the previous actions of the council over the past few months to limit comments to only people who were opposed to mask mandates were discovered, a lot of council members were upset. And they wanted to make sure that the other side was also heard. And the council voted 5-2 last night to make sure that the vast majority of people who are opposed to eliminating mask mandates are also heard. And that the maneuvers over the past few weeks to limit comments from people that were opposed to these bills would not be appreciated at all, and the council voted to let everyone be heard.
I know Lisa Clancy admitted during the meeting last night that she had previously voted to curb the amount of comments that were being read back when we were talking about youth sports. Then last night she admitted that she thought that was the incorrect decision that she had made a couple of weeks ago and wanted to actually continue to hear them all. What do you, how, I mean, I know
Well,
you're not curbing.
I heard Councilman Clancy, Chairwoman Clancy, say that she was upset about the maneuvers to limit opponents of these bills from being heard at the council meetings. And there were some social media posts yesterday to give people instructions on how to make sure that the opponents were heard, that the opponents of masking were heard, that the supporters of these bills to eliminate public health orders were heard, and the people that supported mask mandates that were happy with the position of St. Louis County, with the slow growth of the virus in our community compared to the rest of the country, they weren't being heard. And when the county council chair found out about these tactics, she was upset, and she should be.
Do you have any idea? I know they're going to resume today at noon, I believe is what they decided last night. The plan to continue to read those comments
Right.
today into potentially
Right.
the next couple of days?
The council voted 5-2 to make sure that both sides are heard, and that all of the maneuvers over the past several weeks to make sure only opponents of mask mandates, only supporters of the bills to eliminate the masking mandates could be heard. The council voted to make sure both sides were heard moving forward, and I expect them to keep that commitment.
Sam, you may have answered this, but I want to go ahead and put it out there. It's a specific question from Channel 5, and it's there are some people that believe Councilwoman Clancy, Chairwoman Clancy, is using the public comments to delay the vote long enough so that if you chose to veto the bills, it wouldn't come until after the election. How do you respond to that?
Well, it's a difficult situation when maneuvers to limit public comments to only people who support legislation are exposed, it's upsetting to the council, and it's unfair to the community to only allow one side to be heard during a debate, especially when that one side is not representative of the community. And we've had a couple hundred comments over the past, the past 6 or 7 or 8 weeks that the conversation about mask mandates has been intensely politicized. But I think you can describe it either way. Certainly, people are going to be upset that their tactics were exposed. They may be upset that both sides are being heard, and that it may be obvious to everyone what most everyone knew, is that most people in St. Louis County are happy that the spread of the virus is being managed the way it is, that most people in St. Louis County are happy with the mask mandates, and most people in St. Louis County are happy that we're in a much better place than the rest of the state and the rest of the country. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.